Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to Boozed and Confused, episode 20.
My name's Matt.
I am Carolanne.
Oh, thank goodness we didn't mess that up. That's not funny anymore, so I'm glad we got over that.
And you are catching us at a good week. We got a pretty interesting topic this week.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank
I have
you.
no idea what it's about. I know like the title of it. I don't really know anything about this topic, so Matt's pretty much driving, but I'm excited.
It's kind of like the new car we have. I'm always driving.
Shut up.
Not until I put like a scratch in it.
I've pulled it out of the driveway at least once, and I think that's good enough for now.
No. It's at most once. You've only been in the car driving it once.
I get very nervous. I'm a small lady in a big car. Anyways, all right. Before we dive into the mystery of this week's topic, a couple housekeeping items.
Oh, boy.
First one is we are on all of your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And come hang out with us. We have a nice little community of like people who listen to the pod and then other podcasters, and it's great. If social media isn't really your thing, you can reach us via email, boozedandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com. And we would love to hear from you about your creepy stories, weird encounters. Maybe, I don't know, you've like seen Mothman once, you grew up in a haunted house. Love to hear it.
I am also training a Raven mail system, so we can send ravens to each other.
That's going to be a few years in the making, but yeah, the first few options are a good one to start. And the other housekeeping item, I feel like I usually have more.
It's like the sticker thing?
Yeah, the sticker thing. So if you tune in every week when we release new episodes, so new episodes drop every Monday on all of your favorite platforms, so Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Spotify, pretty much wherever you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us. The best way that you could support us if you enjoy the podcast is by leaving us a review. It really does help other people find us, and this kind of goes for any podcast that you listen to, especially the little guys. But best part is if you were to leave us a review and take a screenshot and send it to us, we will send you some Boozed and Confused stickers for free.
That's so nice. This is my first time ever hearing this.
Shut up.
My first time ever hearing this.
I think that's, well, I actually do have one other random housekeeping item before we get into the drinks. We hit our 1,000th download this week, which was really neat.
Oh my, that's so cool.
Yeah. So thanks to everyone who tunes in each week. Mrs. Cinecor.
I don't know how my mom plays this thing 1,000 times. I have no idea. That's really nice of you, Mom.
But we really do appreciate everyone who has supported us this far, and we're looking forward to 2021 because it couldn't be any fucking worse than 2020. So,
you know, I'm kind of getting some of those vibes, like that guy who played Pokemon Go on his bike who had like 20 phones and would just play each phone.
That's what your mom does.
My mom does that for like podcasts. Mm-hmm. She just jacks up our listening count.
Yeah.
And
well,
I appreciate that.
Somebody has to.
She's the real MVP.
All right. Last item before we get into the topic. What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking an old fashioned.
What's in it?
Well, an old fashioned is it's bourbon whiskey normally. It's wild turkey, a nice cheap one. I like it a lot. It's like a nice simple one. Actually, I think Matthew McConaughey is like the face of it, and I'm totally cool with that. I have a huge man crush on Matthew McConaughey. I'll also made some homemade syrup, simple syrup.
Mm-hmm.
There's some bitters and some orange.
And some cat hair.
There's usually cat hair in the simple syrup when I make it, and I just try and like pull it out without getting my fingers too burned.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of the process. It's actually like artisanal, so
Mm-hmm.
it's better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Organic.
it's pretty good. I'm still figuring out the simple syrup to whiskey ratio. I like it sweet, but this is a little too sweet, but it gets the job done. It makes the research just kind of happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm possessed or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am drinking a spiced apple cider because it feels very fitting, because the whole house has Christmas lights on. I've been watching trashy Lifetime movies all day, so I'm just kind of in the spirit.
All day. It's been like a week.
Don't do this.
It's been like all week.
Don't do this.
I'm also slowly covering the entire house in Star Wars Legos. I brought my entire collection from my parents' house, and I am slowly putting them everywhere.
If I put these two slave ones next to each other on the bar, she'll never notice.
I'm comparing the intricacy between the Jango Fett slave
It's just
one.
crazy. You can't see that kind of quality anymore.
No, the new one that we got. I think
The
you got it
20th
for me for like my birthday.
The 20th
Super cool.
anniversary kit.
Well, and now
there's so many more parts.
Well, and now spoilers. What's going on in Mandalorian? It's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely feeling the whole like Mandalorian thing.
Yeah.
Even though technically Boba Fett's just a clone of Jango Fett, who's just a foundling. So, but it still counts.
Really,
it still counts. It's the family that you live with, not the family that you're born with necessarily.
All right, before we turn this into a
What are we
Star Wars
talking about?
podcast, I don't know. You tell me what we're talking about. You're driving
we're
today.
talking about some pretty weird stuff. Actually, as I've been doing the research, I just keep hearing voices and
What?
yeah, just like little like whispers and stuff. Like I think it was like the cats maybe at first. But today I guess we are going to talk about the Devil's Bible.
You know what? Actually, my mom's calling me right now. I have to go.
Well, no.
Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared.
It's also called the Codex Gigas, meaning literally in Latin, just like the big book.
Mm-hmm.
The big book. But it's also known as the Devil's Bible. To make it clear, we're not talking about the Satanic Bible, which I thought had been around for a super long time. I guess it was published in like 1969.
That was a great year. Went to the moon. I don't know what else happened, but
There was a flock of seagulls.
mm-hmm.
It feels super recent, but I guess when we're going to be comparing the Codex Gigas, which dates back to like 13th century Bohemia, 1969 might as well be like last week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Devil's Bible is the largest existing medieval manuscript in the world.
Okay, tell me more. I'm interested.
It's 3 feet tall.
Yep, it's already got a lot on me. Yep.
When it's closed, it's 2 feet wide. So when you open it,
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
4 feet wide open.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 9 inches thick, which is dummy thick.
2 C's.
And it is 165 pounds.
Oh my God.
The most unique feature of this massive book is a full-sized drawing of Satan, just kind of like standing there menacingly.
Is he on like the cover or
No, he's like
just
right
in there?
He's just like in the middle of the book.
Okay.
And actually on the other side, so like he's on like page right, on page left, it's a drawing of the city of heaven.
Okay.
So just two just massive drawings next to each other, and then on the right it's Satan. It's a terrifying drawing, maybe a little cartoony, but he has this really cool. I wouldn't call it cool. It's kind of bad to call the devil cool. I'm not calling it cool. Sorry, Mom.
Did you learn nothing from Sunday school?
I didn't go to Sunday school. I went to private school. Every day was Sunday school. No, what is interesting, I'll say interesting, is that upon the drawing of the devil is a loincloth, and it's a fabric to indicate royalty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Totally Google it. Look it up. Devil's Bible. Devil. It's
devil loincloth.
Devil's loincloth. Yes, so good. No, it's a really, really big book. Hence the name Codex Gigas. And I think things like printing books are kind of lost on us at this point in history. Like, we can mass produce books like no one's business. Like, books are relatively cheap unless you're buying like books for college.
Yeah, and the scam with that is that your professor wrote it, and there's absolutely no other option. You just have to buy the book for $200, and you open it maybe twice in the semester.
Oh, I actually had a professor, actually really only like one or two professors who actually taught their book. One of them, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, I kind of get why you do that. But like on like the first day of school, he goes, all right, guys, so thank you for buying my book. Just so you know, the price dropped in the market by $1. So here's $1 to everyone who like bought my book. And so he walked through the class and just gave us $1 if we had his book.
I once had a statistics professor who said, I don't care what version of the book you buy. It's all the same. Stats haven't changed in the last 40 years. So my book for that class was $2. And that was, I will forever remember that.
Oh, that's pretty dope. I had another teacher who wrote a book, and all she would do was talk about how she wrote her book. So at the end of the semester, we all asked for her autograph, and she gave us all passing grades despite it being a nightmare class. Anyways, I guess it was a nice gesture, but like $1 off of like $150 book is kind of silly.
Kind of a slap in the face.
But, oh, wait, no, my mom listens to this. I can't talk about what I would do with the money after selling the books back. You know what? Just scrap this.
Nope.
Hi, Mom.
Nope,
Love you, Mom.
We're going right back into it.
So, yeah, book printing. Definitely could print like 1,000 of these Codex Gigases in like no time if we really wanted to. Can we please erase this? No, I'm kidding. We should keep going. I'm an adult. A book the size of the Codex Gigas, being handwritten, which 13th century Bohemia was kind of the only way you could do it, was by hand, which is what we're going to get into. Written by one person, drawn and written, because they would always draw on the books, like nonstop, might I add, would take between 20 and 30 years. That's if they never stopped to eat, sleep, or poop. And pee.
I mean, thank God they didn't have cell phones back then, because a 5-minute poop would turn into like a 35-minute poop.
It's been 35 years. So this massive book, which according to the experts, whomever they may be, say it would take 20, 30 years. The mysterious legend of the book's origin, however, claims it took only one night.
How is that possible?
Well, let's get into it. The story begins in 13th century Bohemia, which is, I think, now like Czechoslovakia.
I don't think Czechoslovakia is around anymore.
Is it the Czech
either.
Republic? It's that part of the world. I'm so sorry. Mr. Z. I'm a failure of history. It was that area. There is a monk. A little monk named Herman.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
He is actually, his full title is Herman the Recluse.
Yeah, I feel like I could get down with Herman.
He's in trouble. He's in like
Oh, no.
really, really big trouble. Like, he's in such big trouble that he's going to face one of the worst punishments available to him at the time. And we know that there's some pretty barbaric ways people were punished in the old days. So Herman was set to be walled up for breaking his monastic vows.
What does it mean to be walled up?
Being walled up is pretty much you just like are told go to your room, and then they just brick the wall. They brick the door, and you just can't get out, and you just die of starvation and dehydration.
Oh.
Yeah, basically they brick your door shut, and they forget about you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I said, he broke his monastic vows like many, 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 many times, like an absurd amount of times. And well, actually, in the book he wrote, he has this. He has like 5 or 6 pages of slightly all capital font. Like it's a different looking page. Pretty much, he writes out all of his sins. And it was believed that being sinful, like, doing bad things, could be kind of reversed if you wrote Holy Scripture. And so in the book, he admits to the following sins of both mind and body.
Oh, Herman, no.
No, Herman, no. Some of his sins that he admits to are being lustful.
Okay.
Being too proud.
Okay.
Being gluttonous.
I feel like these are not things that are deserving of being walled up.
Being envious. It gets worse.
Okay, all right.
Fornication.
Okay.
And bestiality.
Oh, okay. Herman, no. Herman, no.
Bestiality.
Yeah, I'll help you build that fucking wall up.
Bestiality.
For Herman.
And make him die. Yeah, being walled up is exactly what we just said. Basically, he'd have been trapped in his room until he died. Understandably panicked, Herman made a proposal to the abbot of the monastery. The abbot is like the guy in charge.
Mm-hmm.
He proposed, hey, let me write a book. And by writing a book, you're literally handwriting a book, which takes years. A single Bible could take an entire lifetime of work and effort, and that was your life work. He said, let me write a book that contains every piece of human knowledge before tomorrow morning. And it'll be the pride of our monastery. If I do this, you don't kill me by bricking me into my room and making me die. So, like, being very aware that this is impossible, the abbot goes, yo, bet.
Yeah, okay, Herman. Yeah, see you in the morning.
This is win-win for me. If you do it, I get this awesome book. And if I don't, you just die. So the abbot agreed, and Herman got to work. And this is where I really understand Herman's situation. Around midnight, he realizes, oh, this isn't getting done. And I go back to, like, college writing papers, and it's midnight. I'm like, oh, I'm on, like, the title page still.
It's like SpongeBob trying to write his paper, and he's like, what I learned
in boating school is...
And
he's just like this really fancy tea.
The house is on fire. SpongeBob, why?
Oh, Neptune. No, so around midnight, he realized, this isn't getting done. And so the monk, Herman, began to pray. To the devil, of course. To Lucifer.
Yeah, yep.
He prays to Lucifer, the fallen angel, and he offers his soul to the devil in exchange for a book containing all human knowledge before sunrise tomorrow. And, never one to turn down some free souls, the devil agrees and creates a masterpiece. It's a massive book, ornately decorated with gold and silver, written uniformly from page 1 all the way to page 620, which is 310 leaves. Double-sided.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like a 620 page book isn't. Well, I mean, it's a pretty big.
It's 3 feet tall and 2 feet wide pages. It's pretty big.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. And mind you, that at least that's how many pages are in the book now. It's totally possible. It's actually, I'm going to talk about later how some pages were removed from the book. But considering these books were handwritten, seeing no deviation from handwriting is certainly like mind-blowing and astounding. Like, how can someone write this much and not have one slight change in their handwriting? Mind you, in one night. Also, I think it's important to add that these pages aren't paper. These pages are made from a material called vellum, which is like an animal hide. And there's an estimated 160 donkeys' hides that were needed to create the pages for this book.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so come sunrise, the abbot of the monastery knocks on the door. That was a good knock noise. That was my laptop. That's better. Comes to the door, and he's got the book done. He's got the complete Christian Bible, an entire anthology of histories. He has medical practices, how to perform exorcisms, and then there's this pretty weird section about like conjuring spells and stuff, about like summoning the devil, but we're totally not going to talk about that. But I don't know, like if it's a book written by the devil, he's totally going to add like, hey, you want to talk later? Here's my screen name.
Yeah.
What would his screen name be? Probably
Toasty
it'd be like
Boy?
X_X Lucifer XXX666, like super edgy.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, the book was written in Latin, as most books in this time period were, but it was also written, like it contains areas of Hebrew, Greek, and Slavic. I mean, the book was absolutely beautiful. It was quite the sight to behold, but we're just hitting the surface of this massive book. So not surprisingly, the book allegedly written by the devil himself is bound to be a little cursed.
Just a little bit.
You got to expect it.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those like understood things. This is from the devil. It's probably got some pretty cool aspects. Always a downside.
A sweet loincloth in there somewhere.
A little cod piece. a fat cod piece.
Yeah.
I don't really know what happened to Herman after he wrote this book. Well, he didn't write it. He just copyright. He just said he did it. That's all. He put his name on the book. Literally one of the largest pieces of plagiarism I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And as an English teacher, I'm disgusted, but also impressed. Gotta say, when you fake it this big, it's just a huge flex. So I don't exactly know what happened to Herman after he put his name on this book.
Well, I can assure you of one thing. He's dead.
True.
He's dead.
I think that's fair. And considering that there's going to be a 200-year time jump here, so 200 years, the monastery comes upon some pretty hard times. And they pretty much sell the Codex Gigas to another monastery, which is located in Breznov, Prague. And so soon after the sale of the book, the original monastery that it was written in is destroyed during a revolution.
Oh no.
No. And so the book remains in the hands of monks in Breznov until the date of 1593, when they lent it to the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II. But Rudolph II never returns it.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. And here's the thing. You should never lend somebody something that you're not okay never getting back, because that's just how it works.
Deal ever. And so I actually get a lot of serious Lord of the Rings vibes from this book because Rudolph becomes obsessed with the book, and it fueled his already Pretty potent interest in the occult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was going in that beyond section of the of the Gigas.
And so the Holy Roman Emperor's family is like, yo, you're kind of getting a little weird. We're gonna take the throne from you for a little bit. And so they do. And Rudolph dies in 1612, but the book remains with the family. And it gets better. I don't know if it gets better, but more things happen.
It doesn't get better for Rudolph, so.
No, he's dead. He's dead. There's actually a really cool painting of him where everything, like his eyes are like vegetables. Like he's like the vegetable face painting. That's him.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to have to look it up after
If
this.
you Google vegetable face man painting, it's Rudolph II.
Okay, yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Don't ever do that. Don't you ever do that. All right, so was it 1612? He's dead. 6 years later, 1618, the 30 Years' War begins. And I'm just going to skip over 30 years of history. The Swedish army, shout out to all my Swedes, they win and they claim the possessions of the late Rudolph and his family. That includes the book, the Codex Gigas, the Devil's Bible. This book is then brought to the Royal Library in Stockholm. However, in 1697, this all seems very close together. It's kind of a time away. 1697, a massive fire engulfs the royal castle, and since the castle is predominantly filled with wooden stuff, this thing just goes right up in flames. And so they have an extensive library, and the fires are just consuming the castle like floor by floor by floor. And at the entrance of the library are these huge steel doors. I don't know if they're steel. They're giant metal doors. And so the librarians like slam the doors shut, say, we got to buy some time, start throwing books out the window to just save whatever they could save. And so you had to have had like 2 or 3 guys on this book because it's so heavy. They throw the book out of the window, and this poor guy underneath this burning castle is just walking, and he gets just demolished by this book. I'm not sure if he died, but it's like having an average-sized human being thrown from a window hitting you in the head.
It's very unfortunate.
So the castle is engulfed within minutes. It's game over for the castle, and the royal family barely escapes. And the cause of the fire was never really discovered, as they tortured the guys whose job it was to keep an eye out for fires.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, they died pretty quick. So it was at this point in history, the throwing of this massive book from a high castle window caused a few pages to fall out. How?
Oh, no.
Yeah, but you know, however, it looks, because like the book still exists, it looks more like the pages were intentionally cut from the binding.
Mm-hmm.
So what was written on these missing pages? And there are rumors and, you know, hypotheses of what this could be. There's lots of them. I'm just kind of gonna skim over what I think are the cooler ones. Some of the lame ones are these were simply just pages of the rules from the monastery.
Yeah, no, that's pretty lame.
But there are some other theories that are, well, the book contained things mortal eyes should just never see.
Like that loincloth.
Like the loincloth. No, actually, that page is pretty popular. It's like front page of the internet. Besides ways to summon a demon, like I think I touched upon earlier, the book also contains spells that would give the professor of the spell immortality. There were also alleged prophecies of the future in the book, and even a prayer
That one doesn't sound so bad.
that, when it's read from beginning to end, would bring about the apocalypse.
Herman, no.
No, Herman.
Herman.
Look, Herman didn't do it. He just put his name on it. So maybe it's better off gone, like these pages being gone.
Is it though? You know, like, whose hands are those pages in? There's still some days left in 2020.
Oh, true. Well, they're probably dead. Whoever took the page is probably dead.
Well, not if
Unless
they
they
have that
read the immortality. No!
Herman,
Oh,
if Herman could have just kept it in his pants away from those beasts.
those sexy little horses, and piggies. Oh. Well, I was gonna say I've just ruined my day. Maybe the fire was intentional, as started by someone who wanted to remove those pages so that they could save them for a rainy day. But regardless, I've ruined my day by talking about Herman's little horse fetish.
Felt cute. Might summon an apocalypse later. I don't know.
Years and years and years later, we're in the 1800s. It's 1858 to be exact. And the book is located where it actually sits to this day. It is in the National Library of Sweden. And so we're going to go to the date 1858, where a pretty cool story happens. So there is a porter of the library, like a door guy, who I guess on accident falls asleep during his job and is locked in the library all night. And so the porter claims to have seen and heard books flying off of the shelves, clocks chiming as if hours are passing every few seconds, and finally sees by the moonlight the Codex Gigas levitating from its podium.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Yes, pretty much that person was found in the next morning, just like babbling, and was put into a mental asylum.
They probably walled him up.
Yeah. And there's just one more thing I was able to find in the kind of like weird happenings of the book, post all like writing stuff. There's this really famous kind of edgy author named August Strindberg. Ever hear of him?
No.
The only experience I have with Strindberg is this really weird YouTube video called Strindberg and Helium, and it's Strindberg, the author, who's super edgy, and a helium balloon, and it's kind of cute, actually, kind of endearing. But he actually had a friend who worked at the library who would let him into the library at nighttime, and he would walk through the library lighting matches as their only source of light until they could walk to the book, where he would then read the book to them. And it's said that he would begin kind of mumbling to himself, and a friend said that August once asked them, "Can you hear those voices too?"
Oh, okay.
Can you hear the voices, Carolanne?
My mom is calling again. I have to go home.
So the Codex still remains in Sweden. It's like in a museum. You can go see it right now if you want.
Maybe not right now.
I don't know. There's a lot of theories that it's just a really cool story. But I don't know. I like this legend. I really like this legend. I don't care if it's real or not. I just love the story.
I think that's pretty neat. I'm still a little disturbed by Herman, not gonna lie. I think that's still pretty neat, though.
Look, worst case scenario, this monk did some weird stuff, had the devil do it, and it's legit. Or not worst case scenario, some monk did some really bad stuff in their life and repented and wrote a book for like 30 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the first option more.
I kind of like the first one too.
Kind of cooler.
It's definitely spookier.
Maybe Herman made that story up so he wouldn't sound like such a fucking dweeb.
You wrote a book for 30 years? Nerd. It's like George R.R. Martin with that last Game of Thrones book.
Oh, boy.
I just want to know what happens. Because if it's like the show, I've wasted my life.
He won't do that.
No, he won't, because he's learned.
Also, he's a better writer than D&D, so...
Oh, D&D being the guys who
not
skimped
Dungeons
out
and
on
Dragons.
Game of Thrones to be a part of Star Wars, and then were then fired from Star Wars.
Yeah, those ones, the traitors.
Are we becoming a Star Wars pod? We've begun the episode with Star Wars, and now we're ending it with Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could do a Star Wars pod, but...
I totally could. Oh, I totally could.
I don't think I could.
Oh, when at the end of the episode, they did that thing with the bomb thing. That was so cool.
Remember the argument that we got into maybe like a couple weeks ago where it was something about Jedi being pilots? And you were like, there are no Jedi pilots.
No, that's like, quite the opposite.
No. What was it?
Well, Plo Koon's definitely a pilot. He pilots the Jedi Starfighter. You see him die in Revenge of the Sith in his Jedi Starfighter.
Like, I'm not doing this again. It's too late.
Kit Fisto, great pilot. Really cool guy, too. Tells great jokes. But no. That is going to be it for the Devil's Bible, the Codex Gigas. I definitely recommend you guys look it up. The picture itself is pretty spooky. Actually, I think when you Google the devil on Wikipedia, you get the drawing from this book.
Oh. Yeah, we'll have links to the sources, like always, in our show notes, and you should be able to see some pictures of the pages within the Bible itself. But also curious on everybody's thoughts if you think this is done by the devil in one night, or if Herman the dweeb wrote this over 30 years.
Guess we'll never find out.
Unless Herman did that immortality spell.
Oh. Well, then, if Herman can email us, this would be a really cool episode for next week.
Herman, if you're out there, we'd love to hear from you.
I'm not sure if I want to hear from Herman.
No.
Herman, stay far away from my house.
I was okay with it up until the bestiality part. So actually, Herman, don't come near me.
Oh, I'm way more upset by the whole devil thing than the bestiality. I think they're both horrible things.
Yeah.
But I think the devil thing's a little bit more ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. So I think that kind of wraps it up for us today. I'm going to go look at some pictures of the devil and his loincloth and this Bible and, I don't know, get like a mental image of what Herman looked like.
There actually is a drawing. So not uncommon in handwritten books like this. The authors would often draw themselves writing the book.
Oh, that's, okay. I mean, I get it. If I'm writing a book for 30 years too, I'd want some recognition.
Yeah. So you might see there's a few drawings of guys in the book.
What is it Herman being like, me and my friends?
It's me and my boy Satan.
But it's actually like Herman and like horses or something.
Oh, we're back to that. Well, that's it for me.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Come back next Monday when we will drop another episode about God knows what, because we are the best at procrastinating topics. So, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to join us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or email us at boozedandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com.
If you can find my personal Facebook page, I will send you the invite to the super secret MySpace page.
Oh, God. The coveted MySpace.
You will hear the passcode, and once you release the passcode, you will be admitted.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and we will see y'all next week.
Sorry, Mom. Bye.
Bye.